The Do Bash is back. Took a week off for some family stuff, but now we're back. And we took some emails from people because we were just going to get together this week and just kind of have a conversation. We didn't know really what about, but I asked everybody online. I said, hey, if you want us something that you want us to talk about, send us an email and let us know. And some of you guys emailed in. I will not say anybody's name because I didn't ask anybody if I could say your name. So we'll just keep the emails anonymous. But we'll start off with someone asked us to kind of discuss actors that follow certain directors around, kind of like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. What we think about that and what we think about why they keep certain actors and stuff like that. So kick it off, Daniel. What do you guys think about that?
Well, you mentioned Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, and that's a real good way to go. The girl that played, she's been in a big old bunch of Tim Burton movies too. She was the one that played.
Winona Ryder.
No, it was the one that played Bellatrix Lestrange. Helena Bonham Carter. She was in Fight Club. But anyway, her and Johnny Depp are in a bunch of movies together, and they're in a bunch of Tim Burton movies. And to me, watching those movies like that, there's a certain chemistry that certain actors have with certain directors and certain actors have with other actors. And, sometimes the chemistry is just really, really good. And if you have an actor or an actress that just buys in with what the director's vision is, which is what I think that happens with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter. It just creates a really good dynamic, and then it ends up translating on screen better, and it's a better movie for the fan. That's kind of my take. What's your take, Courtney?
Well, you take an actor like Johnny Depp, and he fits right in with Tim Burton's movies, man, because they're both kind of a little weird, and they kind of do stuff that's just like, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love just about every one of their movies, but they're just kind of a little bit sideways, and that's cool.
Yeah, Tim Burton's always had what I consider an abstract way of storytelling and
that's
of
good
directing.
word.
You look at Batman. Batman 1989. Tim Burton did that, and you look how gothic it looks and how abstract it looks. And you look at movies like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice come out a year before that in 1988, had Michael Keaton in it. But you look at all the abstract stuff that was going on in that movie. Tim Burton really, really is good at that sort of stuff. And it fits Johnny Depp with his style and his acting method. I'm a Johnny Depp fan, and in my mind, Johnny Depp can do anything. But there's certain actors like Johnny that end up translating a whole lot better on film with some of the director's vision, and I think that it helps the movie, overall.
Who's the actress that follows Quentin Tarantino around? He uses her in a bunch of his movies.
Uma Thurman used to be one.
Uma Thurman, yeah. Well, he used her in Pulp Fiction.
She was in Kill Bill.
Kill Bill 1 and 2. Is there anything else she was in?
He uses a lot of different. He uses actors like the Samuel Jackson's one of them.
Yeah.
He uses a few, but I was going to use Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro because he directs a lot of movies Robert De Niro's in, and I think that's all right when they've got a chemistry or whatever and they grew up together, but I think it makes the actor too comfortable with what they're doing.
Well, I can see that too. Because then you start running into that whole typecast thing. Robert De Niro is typecast as either a bad guy or a cop. Same thing happened.
He plays a good bad guy. But he played when he was in Cape Fear. He did a lot better job. Well, I can't say better job because he played a criminal or a convict good, but he also played a gangster good and Goodfellas. Casino felt like a an extension of Goodfellas, even though, it's completely different characters and all that, but he still had the same persona. But that last movie he did that they did together, Flowers of the something of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
I thought it was garbage, man. It was 4 hours of my life.
Oh man, no, I went to the movies to watch it. I liked it.
I wanted to be put on hospice, dude. It was terrible.
I've actually never heard of it, so that shows you how much I've heard of them.
And I love history, and I like Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor too, and he shit the bed in that one also.
Well, dang, Leo done a bad movie. Dang.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So what I say about that is Flowers of the Killer Moon is what Travis is talking about.
Yeah, let me look at it.
Scorsese, the past probably 3 or 4 movies that Scorsese has done has been in excess of 3 hours long. So if you keep somebody in a theater for 3 hours, you've got to have a gold movie. Okay,
it's Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
yeah. I watched it. I watched it on my couch in the living room, and I wanted to jump off my deck head first.
Well, so what did you think about The Irishman? Because The Irishman ran three and a half hours, and it was
the Irishman was good, but they used too much CGI because, like, even Robert De Niro, he looked younger in that movie.
Trying to age him down.
Yeah, but if you watch him, how he walks up and down the steps and shit, he still walks like an old man. Like this, really pay attention to how he walks in that movie compared to, like, Goodfellas. Of course, that was 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and he come out in 1990. But he used way too much CGI. He had all the big actors in it.
Well, see, for me, The Irishman, it had a good story, but dude, you could have cut an hour off of that movie easy, and it still would have been a good movie. It was so slowly paced, and it killed me.
Well, that's a lot of his movies lately, like you say. Now, what's that other damn movie? With Matt Damon's in it.
The Departed.
Yeah, The Departed. Now that was a long movie, but that was great.
Everybody in that did good. But see, everybody, okay, so for me, I liked it. It was a good movie, don't get me wrong. And it had all the right actors in it, and they were doing all the right things. The problem is that everybody compared it to Goodfellas, and you're not going to be able to beat Goodfellas.
I didn't think it was anything like Goodfellas because it was loosely based off of Whitey Bulger.
Right.
Which was a gangster from Boston.
No, that was Black Mass. That was Black Mass.
Right. He wasn't based on it. It was loosely based on him. It was a fictional character that was based on Whitey Bulger and how he ran things.
So Scorsese did 2 movies that was based on Whitey Bulger then? I thought The Departed with Jack Nicholson as the main.
Right. Yeah, right, but you're not listening. It's loosely based on Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
See, because it didn't just follow him like it followed Johnny Depp in Black Mass. It followed Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, and the corruption of the Massachusetts State Police, and how they were working for this gangster, because that's what Whitey Bulger really did. But they couldn't use Whitey Bulger. He didn't have the rights to any of that yet.
Right.
So Black Mass come out in 2012. The Departed, I think, come out in 2005.
Yeah, so it
was loosely based on Whitey Bulger. His name, Jack Nicholson's name, wasn't Whitey Bulger. It was just loosely based on him.
Okay, well, see, I didn't know that. I just knew that Black Mass was Whitey Bulger. Yeah. I didn't realize that that The Departed was loosely based on Whitey Bulger. So that's new to me. That's pretty cool.
And I like Johnny Depp. I think he's a real good actor, but I like him better when he's not doing Tim Burton movies, because I think he feels like when he's with Tim Burton, he's got to be weird, and when he's like Black Mass, he did a great job, and then the movie Blow, he did a great job.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
I get that. The one that he did with Al Pacino, where he was the undercover cop, that's the one that I like.
What was it? Donnie
Brasco. Yeah. That's a good movie right there, Corky, if you've never seen that.
I haven't. I have never seen some of these movies. I need to check them out.
Now that was based on a real guy.
Oh, yeah, because I watched a documentary on that. The dude that was Johnny Black.
Yeah.
That happened just the way
Sonny
the
Black.
movie said. Sonny Black, yeah. That happened just the way that the movie said. I mean, he knew that he was going to get killed. He ended up taking off all his jewelry and stuff, give a bunch of stuff to his wife. Ended up walking right into it, knowing that he was going to get killed. That was a good movie.
Yeah, they took their whackings like men back then.
Yeah, took them whack. All right. Well, that was pretty cool.
I'm big into mafia movies anyway. I really like the mafia. Godfather in 1972, The Godfather, that's my favorite movie of all time.
You believe I've never seen that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I need to watch that tonight. Yeah.
Dude, you need to watch that. It's the greatest movie of all time.
Scarface, I've never seen it.
Hey, now there's a series called The Offer, and it's about the director that was trying to get The Godfather made, that actually started making the, him and the producer. It actually shows you like behind the scenes of how they were trying to get the movie. They had to work with the mafia to make sure certain things weren't said in the movie and stuff like that. You need to watch that. It's got Miles Taylor in it.
There's a couple movies out. There's a couple movies out right now, and they were about MS-13, and they were made a few years ago. And I was just reading about this today. I don't know what they were called, but what's the guy's name that was in Machete? What's his name?
Oh, shit.
I knew Danny Trejo or something.
Trejo. Yeah.
Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Well, he was a big gang member, and he went to prison, and then he got out and changed his life around. But when they were making these movies about these gangs, he would actually have to go to the leaders of these gangs and get permission to make these movies. And if you didn't get permission, people would just, I think they made this one movie where they didn't go talk to the people and get the right permission to portray them. And like 5 people just like vanished.
Yeah, it was American.
My God.
American Me's the name of that movie. That's a good flick too.
Yeah, there's like 5 people died because they didn't get the proper permission to make that movie.
Yeah, the director, Edward James Olmos, he didn't. Danny Trejo tried to tell him, hey, you kind of need to talk to these people. He's like, that would be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people got killed.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Hey, I heard about it just the other day. I was listening to something that people were talking about it. I was like, dang, man, they ain't trying to get killed over there.
As a matter of fact, on Saturday, we're going to go watch 2 movies. So the first movie we're going to watch is that new, what did we just watch the other night? The Quiet Place movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie, ain't it?
But we're also going to watch The Bikers. It's called The Bike Riders or something.
Is that got the dude that played Elvis in it?
Yeah, that dude.
Yeah. That was filmed in Cincinnati, right down from Alicia's cousin's house. I'm actually driving up there tomorrow. Really? But yeah, we were coming through town as they were filming one of the bar scenes in that movie.
Sweet,
I didn't see them filming it, but they told us, hey, they're over there filming or something like that.
That's pretty cool. We're gonna go watch it on Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I heard it's supposed to be a pretty good movie, man.
Nice. It's got Tom Hardy in it too, the dude that played Venom.
Right. Yeah. But I tell you what, you guys may have never seen these movies, but I just discovered them. Have you guys ever seen a movie called X?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it sucked. I hated it.
I loved it. Have you seen Pearl?
Oh my God!
Have you seen Pearl? Now Pearl's a prequel to X.
Yeah, it's set in the 20s. I haven't seen Pearl.
No,
I watched X. You couldn't freaking see it. It's blacked out the whole time.
X, what do you think? It takes place in like 75, 76, something like that.
Yeah, it's like it's got this whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa! I have seen that. That's where they're out there in that cabin, right? And
they're filming an adult movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that.
Got this old chick that comes in.
It's horny.
Scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like a cat in heat.
Well, Pearl is Pearl's the sequel, and it follows the old chick as she's young, up until the point of the X movies made. Now they're coming out with a movie called Maxine that is a sequel to it. That's coming out. Yeah, it takes place in '85, and it's after the movie X. I mean, I loved them myself, of course.
This prequel is showing you why the granny in X had plastic on her couch. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that like showing you how she got in this state?
I put it this way: she's nuts. Put it that way. If you haven't seen Pearl, I forget what streaming service it's on, but it's free. Go watch it.
So
Daniel didn't like them, but I'm good with a good crazy killing movie.
That whole deal.
Go ahead, Chuck. You said she's nuts. Look, I learned this a long time ago. You find you a woman that you were okay with her kind of nuts. Okay, they're all nuts, but I mean now. In all honesty, there's a man behind them that made them crazy as hell. So it ain't entirely their fault, but you have to find somebody that, they're kind of nuts you can handle.
Well, this kind of nuts is I'm going to stab your guts out until you physically have no more blood left in your body. So that's pretty much nuts, in my opinion.
Oh, I love her.
It's a good movie, though. Seriously. I mean, hey, in my opinion, I like it.
I'll watch Pearl, and I'll give it a shot. But, okay, X, the whole you couldn't see half the movie, man.
Yeah, it was all at night, most of it.
It was at night, and you couldn't hardly see anything. You had that alligator that's about to come up and eat that one girl while she's floating in the pond or whatever. But then after it actually got dark, the whole movie, okay, 30 minutes of the movie was during the daylight hours, and that's the part that you could see. After it got dark, you couldn't freaking see nothing. It was like watching that battle on Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, the one that we wasted 8 years of our life for the finale. We couldn't even see.
Yeah, you couldn't see anything. It pissed me off.
I didn't have that problem. Maybe my TV's a little bit brighter than y'all's.
Well, maybe your TV's is better than mine. I don't know, but I couldn't see crap on X, and I didn't like it.
Maybe my TV's just better than you guys' black and white setup.
Yeah, maybe you need to upgrade to 4K, baby.
Right? I mean, I didn't have a problem with the acting. I didn't have a problem with the story after I finished the whole movie.
But the only one that I knew in the movie was, other than Jenna Ortega, was the dude that played Riggs in Grey's Anatomy. And it was just weird seeing him in that kind of role after seeing him on Grey's Anatomy.
Was that the main guy?
He was the porn star that ended up doing Jenna Ortega and the
white guy.
The older white guy, right?
I thought you were talking about the other dude. That wasn't he a rapper or something?
I think it was Mia Hamm's boyfriend in the movie.
See, I didn't know Mia Hamm. I knew the girl that was on Pitch Perfect. And I knew Jenna Ortega, and that's the only ones that I knew. So they had the one guy that was operating the camera, and then you had the one porn star.
Yeah, he was the guy, the white guy that come out wearing the banana hammock there on the porch. That was the guy from Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, there's a show called Virgin River on Netflix. It's real good, but it's a chick show. He's the main character on it. So it was weird for me. I was like, man, Jack's acting like this in a movie.
Yeah.
He trying to show some range, son.
Oh my God, he showed it in that one.
Yeah, there ain't much more range. You can maybe range of motion, but
yeah, that's about it.
I was surprised that the girl from Pitch Perfect was doing a role like that. That seemed like after she had done like 3 Pitch Perfect movies, I figured that would be considered beneath her.
Well, I thought that she hit every note that she should in X. She hit all of the right notes.
Okay, you guys want to go on to another topic I've got here? You want to continue on this? All right. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. Moving on to the next one. Shoot. So-and-so says, hold on, let me read it. Since you guys seem to love discussing the paranormal show, Can each one of you guys describe to me the scariest moment or the scariest thing that you've ever witnessed? And we'll start with you, Daniel.
The scariest thing for me, all right, I got two of them.
All right, let's hear it.
They were both equally as scary, and both instances was around the same time. So I don't know who this person is that's asking this question, but we'll kind of be talking to you here. Back when me and Travis and Corky and Matt were in high school, we started fooling around with these Ouija boards. And I was living in a house. My mother actually still lives in the house now, but before then, we never had any problem with paranormal. House never felt weird. Never seen any kind of ghost or anything like that. So Travis's stepmom, or I guess ex-stepmom from a long time ago. I don't know how many wives that Kurt's been through since her. I don't know.
Just one. He's a hopeless romantic.
She brought a Ouija board over, and she set this Ouija board up in the kitchen. They used it. All of them did. I didn't really have a hand in it when this thing was brought over, but all of them did. Use this Ouija board, and after that, it kind of inspired me and Matt and Corky and everybody to kind of get our own Ouija boards. So we ended up getting our own, and we started using them, and we didn't know what we were doing, and we didn't know how to close out the sessions right. And so it left a lot of open doors. So I think part of that is what caused a lot of the stuff that was going on at my house. So you fast forward this by a year or two, and I was somewhere around sophomore, junior year of high school, and I'm laying in my bedroom. Back then, I was didn't have my brother in there. He had already moved rooms, so it was just me. And I had two windows in the bedroom, and the way that my bed was situated, you couldn't see the area that my bedroom door was in, so it was complete dark. And I got scared in there a lot because you could just feel something standing in there watching. There was all kinds of black shadows and black corners and whatnot that something could be standing there. And the activity ramped up to a point to where I actually started hearing voices. And so one night I'm sitting there and I'm just acting stupid because I'm scared, and I'm trying to go to sleep, and I can't make myself go to sleep. I got too much anxiety. And so I'm singing along with this song, except I'm singing it kind of silly. And something from the corner that I couldn't see told me to shut the F up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, that's the exact words. And I don't know what it was. It was over there by the bedroom door. So
it's somebody that didn't like your singing, that's for sure.
Well, it was scary. So that's one of the scariest times. The other scariest time for me was around the same time, and it was at the apartments, Cherokee Hills apartments. And we were standing there on the soccer field. I'm not real sure what it is now. It used to be a baseball field, then it became a soccer field. It overlooked the apartments. But
yeah, over on the other side of the tennis courts or whatever on the hill.
Yeah.
I think it's still a baseball field now.
So we were all standing over there, and you can back me up, Corky, because you were there. But it was about 2 or 3 days after this lady in a second-story apartment in one of those buildings freaked out. She freaked out, had some kind of breakdown, said that she saw something.
Don't know. I remember that.
She left, right? So they've got the apartment empty. And we're all standing there playing football out in that field. And we all look, and there was a transparent shape that stood in front of the window. It like walked from one side of the room, stood in front of the window, and it was the upper torso of something. And it was completely transparent. It was like it was the black background from the window, and it showed up, and it was white, but you could still see kind of the shape. And it stood there and looked at us. and it sit there and looked at us for a good minute or two, and then it's like it just turned and walked away.
Bro, I forgot all about that, man. I remember. That's crazy.
And those two instances right there are the scariest times that I can remember.
Man, I remember that. I was there for one of them, man. Travis, what you got?
The the scariest thing for me, what really scary, I guess. I mean, it was scary at the time, but it was every time I'd go to sleep in my room, there was a back room in the back of my house. And if I slept in there, I'd always hear somebody walking like toward the bed because the floor creaked. If I ever slept in there and turned the lights out, but if I slept in my room, I could always hear like it sounded like somebody was scrubbing the carpet back there, and there wouldn't be anybody in the room.
That was Jody's old room, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be. The Ouija board told me the name of the ghost was Zini. Now, I don't know what the hell that means, or if it was like Italian or what.
I remember you telling me about this.
But you could hear it like they were trying to scrub something out of the carpet. So it kept me up pretty late at night when I was a kid. But other than that, wasn't that terrible. I mean, nothing ever told me to shut up singing or anything, you know.
Well, I'll tell you, I swore I'd never do this while I was here, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just because I don't care. We moved into this house going on 5 years ago. And this house was built in 1864. So it makes it, I think, about 160 years old, something like that.
Exactly.
So Lord only knows what's went down within these walls of this house, you know. I can walk through the house and I can look on the floor and on the walls and you know, there's marks and stuff. And then you can wonder what made that mark, you know, because 160 years, that's like 3 lifetimes for somebody, you know what I'm saying? So
that, because we ain't gonna make it to 80 or you know.
You never know. so we move in here, you know, and I knew coming into it, I knew something because you know I like the air just a little thicker when you come in, you know. And I thought to myself, it's just, you know, the house is old. You're spooking yourself out, you know. Well, we move in, and the first month everything's kind of goes real good, but I started noticing something because we live in Sweetwater, but we still took our kids. All my kids were still in school when we moved in here. So we took our kids all the way to Central to school because I'm not going to make my kids switch schools, you know, especially when one of them's a sophomore and the other one's a junior, you know, got their stuff established. Anyhow, so every night we'd have to go get the kids and bring them home. So we'd be and I noticed the closer we got home, the more we would all just get pissed off and start fighting with each other. And, you know, and I've studied the paranormal a lot, and I know that that's one of the telltale signs that something's going on is when it starts affecting people's emotions and stuff like that. But still, you know, I let it go. And it would never fail, man. You know, we live right here by the high school in Sweetwater. And when we'd go past that high school and we'd be about a football field from the house, we just start fighting. I mean, it just ridiculous, you know. And, you know, you'd be sitting at the house, you'd hear stuff moving. Of course, we'd be like, oh, we're just not used to the sounds of the house yet, you know, always trying to play it off, you know. Well, I don't necessarily think I would see stuff starting out, but I would sure feel it. You know, I've always thought, man, I remember Daniel, like when I was in your room that night, I can feel when something's around me, you know, and I would feel that every time I would come in here, especially in my dining room. You can go in there to this day, and like I have 2 60-something pound boxer dogs, right? And my one dog will always hide behind the door. She won't even go into the room. And I've got pictures I'll show you guys. She'll go hide behind the door and just will peek out around it. She won't even come into the room. And you can go in that room and it's just automatically, not as much now since we've taken care of the situation, but when we first moved in, you wouldn't even want to go in that room because it just felt so weird. And so you started having little incidents like that. And one day, my little niece and nephew's over here. And you got You got the dining room to your right if you're looking into the house, and to the left, there's a staircase that goes up to the second floor. Well, we have my little niece and nephew over here, and they're playing, doing whatever. And my nephew stops and he looks into the dining room, and he starts going, "Kids, kids." We're looking over and we're like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, he goes, "Kids." And we're like, there ain't no kids in there, buddy. So we took him, on through the hallway. We got into the hallway and he ran into the bathroom, just started crying. He looked in there, seen something, made him cry, And then you're talking about kids that's 3 years old. They're not old enough to be wondering, about a ghost or anything like that. We're talking 3 years old. So at that point, I looked at my wife and I said, I think we've got a problem here. And so we go on and on. You had your typical haunted house stuff. Well, one day I'm at work and I get a call from my wife. And she calls me and she says, "Hey," she's in her upstairs bathroom. And she says, "Hey, I have been trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes and I can't get out." And I said, "What do you mean trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes? She said, "Corky, I'm in the bathroom. There's something outside. I hear it and I cannot leave the bathroom." So at this point, I jump up and I leave work and I start heading home. She calls me hysterical and she said, "I opened the door and I just ran." I said, "Get out of the house. Don't go back in the house." So at that point, I get home and I realize, we got a problem because my wife has been trapped in the bathroom for 45 minutes now. I don't necessarily think nothing was holding the door shut and wouldn't let her out, but she was frozen in fear, if that makes any sense. And so I just, somebody's got some major feedback going on.
Daniel, you got some feedback, buddy. I had mine muted.
I think Daniel's got a train going on in the backyard.
Yeah. I'm muted. Yeah, I got a train going on.
But anyhow, so I tell my wife, I said, "Hey, this ain't cool. We got to do something, So at that point, we go into the house. I have 3 kids. And we call like Jace, my older son. He's upstairs. Breedley's upstairs. I called him down. I said, "Hey, this happened today. Are you guys?" And when I said this happened today, at that point, all 3 of my kids start crying. We had all been individually having stuff go on, but none of us were telling each other about it, And when I tell you, my son breaks out in tears, this is a, junior in high school, middle linebacker, football player. He was a tough kid, and he breaks down and he said, "I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm just always so angry, So whatever this was dealing with our emotions. So this whole story is building up to this. One of the scariest points in my life was, you had this dining room there. Our bedroom is in the room in front of the dining room. Then you have like a foyer where the staircase is at, and then beside the foyer is the living room. There was a point when we lived here that everybody in my house was asleep in my bed, in my bedroom, and then I had 2 kids sleeping on the couch in the living room because we was all too scared to go to our bedrooms. And it was so bad, I was standing in the foyer in between the living room and the bedroom, and I had to stand guard and watch my kids sleep and my wife sleep because I was afraid to go to sleep and not know what was going to happen between them. So my scariest point, there's a lot more to this story. Like I said, I'll tell these stories as the days go by, but I stood there and had to watch guard over my family because of what was happening in my house. That was one of the scariest moments in my life. Yeah.
Now you said it was built in 1864. Back in during the Civil War, Sherman come right through here. He stayed in Athens for a week or a few days or something, and most of the houses he burned for firewood. But there's a house over here next to mine. That's the Keith Mansion.
Yeah.
And they used that as a hospital. It's supposed to be real haunted. And then they used the one right behind Save-A-Lot that's on the hill, that house. They called it the White House because that would be White's something center, whatever, where all them stores are right there. And they used it for like their headquarters. So if your house it's a pretty big house. Yeah. It survived. So it might have been used as like a hospital for that area.
I have my suspicions. And what's weird is we went to the library and we went to the historical society. Can't find any information about this house as far as the history of it. But yeah, there's definitely and we had to go through some stuff that would be on a movie to get to where we're at now. And we'll save that for a future podcast. But the things I went through the first 4 months living here, somebody needs to write me a script, baby, and give me some money. That's all I'm saying.
That's some serious stuff right there, man.
Oh, hey, buddy, that ain't even that's just a chip off the block. That's just a chip off the block, man. And when we do another paranormal show, I'll tell you the rest of it. But it's something else, man. It's really something else.
And that's great.
But yeah, that's my moment. And so we'll move on from that, getting off the old scary paranormal stuff, and I'll move on to the next email. And this email's from looks like a fella from Etowah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But he says, hey, if you guys could pick one song to listen to the rest of your life, what would that song be? Go for it, Daniel.
Man, I don't know that I could narrow this down to one song.
You got to, man.
There's all these different genres and subgenres of this stuff. But I tell you what, a few years ago, I never was a huge Testament fan, but I really like Testament, and they've got a song that come out in somewhere around the early 90s that's called Electric Crown. And it's got a heavy riff to it. I really like it. I don't know that I would pick that to listen to the rest of my life, but about 5 years ago, I got into listening to that song, and I listened to it quite a bit that whole year. That's a good song. But, man, that's a tough question right there.
That is a tough question, ain't it?
That's tough, dude.
So you're saying Testament. What was the name of the song?
Electric Crown. It's got a really good riff to it. I love it.
Yeah, Travis, what about you, buddy?
Dude, there's no way.
You gotta pick something, man.
Listen, like I could tell you a song right now, and in 10 minutes it's going to be a completely different song because my mind never stays in one spot.
Because that's the way I am.
That's the way mine is. That's the way it's going on what mood I'm in and what I'm going to listen to. But if you had to pick a song right now, what would it be, man?
Christ, man, I don't know.
I don't know. Do it.
It had to be. Well, I don't know how to break it. I mean, that's like the hell. I don't even know what to compare.
Because I mean, what do you do? Do you go metal? Do you go rock? Do you go some kind
of? That's like asking an Amish guy, "What's your favorite tomato to grow?" I don't know. It's just a tomato. I water it. I take a dump on it. That's it.
What's your favorite crop?
Yeah. What's your favorite time of year, Chief? Well, when I'm making money. I don't know, man. I see, like, just fighting for right now, I would say at the sake of being called names and everything after this podcast is over.
Yeah.
There's a song by Moby called Porcelain.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. I could listen to that. That's baby making music at its finest, son.
Moby.
But also, there's a couple Ryan Bingham songs that been going through my head all day, too. One of them's called Bluebird. The guy he ain't got a great voice. He's got a good voice. He just don't really use it real well. And there's South Side of Heaven's good.
Yeah, that's a good song.
I'll have to have that at my funeral.
Yeah. Well, let me think, man. If they said, hey, you got to have one song, it's all you get for the rest of your life. Sitting here right now, I guess I'm going to have to go Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, baby. Praise God. You know, well, that's where I'm at right now. You know, like you said, bedtime tonight, I might be on some Pantera or something like that. You know, it's just according
on. But you know what? As like I would have said a Pantera song easy, but Matt's been on a hip hop kick here lately.
He has. I'm impressed with him.
I'll bet you Matt would go with Snoop Dogg or something.
He would probably go with gin and juice or something like that.
He's just on that kick because I know him so well.
That dude's gonna go. His pick would be "Born on the Bayou" by CCR. I already know.
No, hey, I like that song.
His pick for real would probably be "Everlong" by the Foo Fighters. But
probably right. He likes the Foo Fighters.
He's a huge Foo Fighters fan, but he's been on this freaking hip hop kick now for about a month. And I'm telling you, man,
he'll text me, goes, "You ever hear this song?" Yeah, man, I've heard that song.
Heard it 10 minutes ago, son.
I played it 5 times a day. What are you talking about?
Oh man!
No, I mean, how do you narrow it down? It's hard enough to narrow it down to what one band would you listen to for the rest of your life? Much less just one song.
I'll go even further than that. It's hard to narrow it down to the genre because I listen to 60s and 70s classic rock. I listen to 80s hair metal. I listen to 80s pop. I listen to 90s top 40. I listen to 90s rock. I listen to metal from the 70s through today. I listen to everything, man. So to pick a song, that's hard.
All right. Let me kick it off here. So, like Travis said, now you have to pick a band. No matter what genre it is, you have to pick a band. What's it going to be? A band. One band. Yeah.
That I cannot. That's it for the rest of my life.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, Pantera. Pantera.
Okay. All right.
For me, Pantera.
Mine's Guns N' Roses.
GNR?
Yeah, man.
Man, I like Appetite and I like Use Your Illusion.
They've got a lot of different. Like if you want acoustic, you can listen to GNR Live. If you like, just raw, Appetite for Destruction. If you like a little bit more produced stuff, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. And then the Spaghetti Incident sucks.
Well, what about the second album? The second album, nobody ever heard anything. Wasn't that the one that Yesterday's was on?
No, GNR Lives was acoustic. I Used to Love Her and Patience is on it. Yesterday's is on Use Your Illusion 2.
Okay, well, which one was the second album? Was
GNR
that
Lies?
Oh, Lies. Oh, okay, yeah. Lies.
Yeah.
That's the one that you said. That's the one that had Patience on.
Yeah, Patience and
okay.
I Used to Love Her, where he's talking about burying that chick in his backyard.
Yeah. So you go with GNR, huh?
Yeah, because it's got they were fit into a genre, but they really were just making music. I mean, when the first album came out, it was just raw. What you'd hear at a local bar in LA. They was doing about the same thing everybody else was doing.
And I agree with that. They come out in 1987. They didn't sound like Motley Crue or LA Guns or anything. They had their own sound. So I respect that.
They was just trying to go with, what sounded good to them. And then GNR Lives come out in 88 and it was just a little acoustic setup there where, they just kind of dialed it back. And then Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 both come out on the same day in 1991, I think September 1st. And they kind of sounded the same, but you could still tell they were a little bit different from each other. You can tell which song is on which album.
Hey, yeah. Daniel, what did you say Matt's favorite, the song Matt would pick? What did you say it was?
He would say Everlong by Foo Fighters.
I just asked him. You're exactly right.
Man, that's my brother, man.
You get 3 cool points, man.
That's my brother,
awesome.
Man. I know him. I've known that man for. I'm 45. I've known that man for 36 years. I've been his best friend for 36 years. I know him.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm impressed. I've never heard that song. I'm gonna have to check it out.
You've never heard
Everlong?
Bro, I told y'all I didn't listen to a lot of it. I just discovered Pearl Jam 6 months ago.
Who are you?
You've heard Everlong. Everybody's heard Everlong.
Sang me a little bit of it.
I ain't no singer.
I don't know words. I'll play it for you. I don't know the words, man. Something about Everlong.
I'd have to listen to it. Maybe I've heard it, maybe I ain't, but it don't ring a bell.
Heard it.
I'll say this: I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan. I like the Foo Fighters, but
yeah,
if I'm gonna listen to the Foo Fighters, Everlong is my favorite song.
Really? All right, I'm gonna listen to it as soon as we get done with this podcast.
Album. The Color and the Shape is their favorite one or my favorite that they've done.
So that was something else. So since we did the '90s album, that was our second podcast. I have almost exclusively listened to nothing but albums. I'll pick it and I'll listen to it start to finish. And I'm up to I think I'm in the 40s now. I've listened to 40-something albums.
Dang, that's nice.
But the Foo Fighters, that was a good album. I did like it. I liked it.
Yeah, I like it all the way through. And it come out in '97, man, and that's all I played in my car. I know you heard Everlong.
I may have, but you know who I've started listening to here lately, and y'all gonna make fun of me, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Y'all ready for this?
Who is it?
Limp Bizkit.
I won't make fun of you for that. I like their second one.
So
they're touring now, man, and they still sound good.
I've got hot dog flavored water.
Yeah.
Chocolate starfish. That's the second one.
That's the third one.
Is it? So which one was Break Stuff? The one Break Stuff on.
That was the second one because the first one was something dollar bill, y'all. It's the one that had Faith on it. It came out in '98.
Was it a full album or was it an EP? Did they only have like 4 or 5 tracks on it?
Yeah, I think it was full. It was a full one.
Okay.
But now Fred Durst, he was in the Navy too. He got kicked out for giving a guy a tattoo, and he had the same job I did. He built bombs.
Huh.
So it looks like their first album was $3 Bill, y'all.
Yeah, see, that's it.
Yeah, Significant Further.
Yeah.
Faith was on their first album? I didn't know that.
That was their first hit. They played it on New Year's Eve '97. So it came out in '97, cool. Not '98.
I never had anything against Limp Bizkit. For me, it was my fault. And when I say it was my fault, from about 1995 through about 2000, I didn't like anything that was mainstream. And
that's always been my problem. That's always been my problem. That's why I haven't heard of the Foo Fighters song. I haven't heard of, if it wasn't, like off the wall, I didn't want to be like nobody else,
Hey, not me, man. If I liked it, I listened to it. I didn't hear what anybody thought.
Well, see, I made myself hate stuff. It's like you take Pearl Jam. I love Pearl Jam now, but man, in high school, I would throw a tape out the window if you gave me one of them.
You'd like the Screaming Trees too, but you tried to berate me when we was working at the jail. I can't believe, who are you listening to this trash? I'll talk about music.
I've never heard Screaming Trees. I've heard Neon Trees, but I ain't heard Screaming Trees.
Screaming Trees did a song. Hey y'all, what's the name of it? Something Without You, but it's a good one, man.
I'll check.
I nearly lost you is the name of it. That's a good song.
Screaming Trees. Yeah.
See, back in high school, between about 95 to 97 especially, and then after that, I wasn't around everybody from high school no more, so I kind of opened up a little bit, but not much. But between about 95 and about 97, I didn't listen to anything that was mainstream. Like Blink 182, Eve 6, like all that stuff. And I listen to that stuff every day now. And I didn't listen to it just because, so-and-so listens to it. Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah, I ain't listening to that crap.
I'm not going to listen to his music. Screw him. And I missed out back then on a lot of good music at the time.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I could tell you what where I was stationed at in the Navy, just based on when albums come out. And one of them was, Enema of the State come out in 99. But I listened to that after I got out of boot camp. I listened to that one, A Perfect Circle. When I was in Pensacola, I wore it out, that first CD. And then Stained come out, something the Cycle. What is it?
Breaking the Cycle.
Breaking the Cycle. I listened to that on the first Westpac tour we did out there. And so I can tell, like, that's, like you said in the earlier podcast, like a time machine. I know exactly where I was when I was listening to all that stuff. Like Chevelle, I used to listen to them a lot. Y'all ever listen to Chevelle?
Yeah, Chevelle's good.
I ain't never heard of them.
Dude, man, you got to listen to
fired,
Chevelle,
dude.
man. That's good. Hey, I'll tell you something about Stained. I don't know what CD that this, or album that this come off of, but they were talking about it at work. And I said, yeah, man, that song Mud Shovel's real good. And they said, what are you talking about, Mud Shovel? I said, the Stained song, Mud Shovel. I said, that's my favorite Stained song. They said, man, I don't know what you're talking about, but there ain't no song called Mud Shovel.
That was the first album.
And they were ready to fight. And I'm sitting there going, dude, man, I don't know Stained like you think that you know Stained. But I know that they've got a song called Mud Shovel, and it kicks ass. And they're like, you're crazy.
That was their first hit. That was their first hit.
No, man, if it wasn't, what was that one that Fred Durst?
It's been a while.
That was
a while. Man, if it wasn't, It's Been a While, they didn't know it. But they wouldn't admit that they didn't know it. And I'm sitting there going, man, Mud Shovel kicks ass. You need to hear it. No, man, you're crazier than hell. There's not a song called Mud Shovel.
And I'm pretty sure that first album come out in 97. That was the first song I ever heard of them. It was all over. What was that? It wasn't MTV, but it was another Fuse.
Fuse.
Yeah, maybe
VH1.
Fuse.
Yeah, MTV, VH1, Fuse.
They wore it out. I didn't know who Stained was until then.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys ever listen to any Misfits?
Misfits is good.
Man, I love this. See, that's where I'm at. I love the freaking Misfits, man.
So you were the one that introduced me to Gorgeous Frankenstein.
Yes, I was, bro.
Is good. I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I should have brought a bucket down here to puke in.
So you don't like the Misfits, Travis?
I don't like punk music in general. The closest to punk I get is Green Day, man.
I see. I don't like Green Day. See.
Oh man. See,
you know why?
Because they're mainstream.
Because they're mainstream. Yeah. You know what cracks me up? What cracks me up is you'll see these, high school kids and everything walking around wearing Misfits shirts. It's like I went to Walmart the other day and tried to get a Misfits shirt, and they're sold out. And about everybody that bought one of those shirts can't name 2 freaking songs.
That's what I'm talking about.
That they freaking sing.
Preach.
But you know that they're going to rock a Misfits shirt.
Praise those children.
Preach.
Yeah.
Because they're walking around with all of these vintage bands on.
Yeah.
Band t-shirts. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's like, okay, so name like 2 songs. They can't
sometimes I'll do that, especially when somebody will have a Ramones shirt on or the Misfits. I'll be like, hey, man, what's your favorite song? They'll just look at you and like, that's what I thought. Take it off.
Music is that's my bag, man. Always has been. But I hate punk with a purple.
Yeah, well, you know what?
So,
it don't like you either, Travis. Okay.
Hold up. I ain't gonna bash. I ain't gonna bash somebody for not liking something, but what I want to know is, I'll tell you why I didn't catch on to it as early as what maybe Corky did or some of the other people did. I'll tell you why I didn't catch on to it is because I don't like the drum beat for it. It's too fast, and I never did like speed metal either. Later on down the road, like Slayer, I'm not a Slayer fan.
I'm not a Slayer fan either. Yeah.
I don't like speed metal. Okay, so when I listen to Misfits, and that's something that later on, when I read about Danzig, whenever he left the Misfits and he got into Sam Hain, and he was doing some music with Sam Hain, and then he got into Danzig. He was talking to Rick Rubin, and he had I can't remember what the song is now. I know it, but I can't remember what the song is now. He had the drum beat for a punk drum beat. It sounded like a drum beat from something that the Misfits would play, and it was way too fast. And Rick Rubin told him, he said, dude, no, you got this all wrong. He said, what you need to do is drop that, play it like this. And he did, and he kind of helped him develop his own sound off of that.
Yeah.
So the Misfits, to me, punk in general, to me, I like it now. I can appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
But drum beats are just too fast for me. It's got too much of a tempo. So my question to you, Travis, is how come you don't like punk? Is it because of that, or is it something else?
Because it's not mainstream.
Is it the whole anarchy bullshit that they're talking about?
I don't care what they sing about. I mean, it's sloppy. The whole production, all of it, it's all sloppy. Like
I can agree with Travis.
You can hear strings slapping.
Punk music is really. I can see how people would not like punk music. I can agree with him on that.
And it does. It sounds like it's produced for about $5.
It probably was too.
Now, if it like Korn, you can hear the bass because the strings, the guitars, and the bass is tuned so far down it's almost muddy. And you can hear the bass strings smacking around, but it's still not sloppy because the bass strings smack at the same time as the kick drum. That's what a guitar player listens to the hi-hat. That's what they go off of. Good bass players go off the kick drum, which is the 1 and the 3. And that's what, like, I played with some younger guys here recently, and they had some songs, and I was trying to, help them build some songs. They needed a singer, needed some structure. That's how it was explained to me. I was trying to give them some structure. Well, you thought I smacked their damn mama. I was like, look, you need a singer. There's nothing to sing over here. You've got to have some dynamic. Now, the drummer had dynamics. He was trying to put all of it in. He could, but it's hard you can't just have it with just the drums. You know what I'm saying? You've got to do something different. Eventually in there, you've got to have something to pat your foot to. If you're a guitar player that is trying to be a bass player, you still got to play the bass like it's the bass, not the guitar. And punk, they just all kind of go in there and slap it all together.
Well, let me issue this challenge, Travis. I'll agree with you if you listen to like Sam Hain, and you listen to a lot of
Sam Hain because it had Glenn Danzig in it.
Yeah. When you listen to a lot of early Misfits, I think it went Misfits, Sam Hain, then Danzig, whatever. Yeah. But but the Misfits got back together like 97, 98, and they come out with a couple albums called I think it was Famous Monsters or something like that, and American Psycho or something like that. You listen to those two albums, those were produced. You could tell there was some money put into those two albums. Yeah. So those two albums sound completely different than anything earlier.
Well, I don't think it's really I think what the producers were trying to do when punk come out was try to capture how they played live. And that's why people liked them. They wasn't worried about structure. They wasn't worried about being pristine as far as the sound went. They just plugged the shit in, twist the knob off, through it behind.
Yeah.
And so I can't really fault the producers. They were doing what the record company wanted as far as, hey, let's try to capture this sound. It's just I didn't like it didn't have nothing to do with the tempo or the drum beat. I'm sure that most of them guitar players are probably a whole lot better than I am playing the guitar. You just couldn't tell it listening to their song.
What was their guitar's name? It's something von Frankenstein or something. Listen to me, Travis. Listen to the album American Psycho and Famous Monsters, but there's songs on there called Dig Up Her Bones, Scream. Scream's a very good song. Actually, I had a huge video for it, and it's just great. Listen to those two songs. You may still hate them, but you at least can see the difference in the recording then and compared to those earlier albums. So I know exactly what you're talking about. that whole underground garage sound crap.
See, Rancid is the same way. I don't like them for the same reason.
Yeah, Rancid be the same way. Yep.
Yeah, Dropkick Murphy, all the. I mean, I know I've tried to listen to a lot of different stuff, because I'm all about anarchy too most of the time. But it was just the way that they sound. I just didn't like the sound. That's all.
Well, all right. So while we're on the subject of punk and Glenn Danzig, okay, we all listened to Glenn Danzig and the band Danzig in high school. Everybody knows Danzig 1 through 4. Okay.
Yeah.
He's actually done a lot of music after Danzig 4.
It gets stupider every album too.
It does, but what's that? Black Laden Crown. Black Laden Crown come out in 2015, and that's a good album.
Is it really?
Yeah, I like it.
What now? Was that one
just straight up black metal, man? It was.
Wasn't it called Black Acid Evil, Black Acid Devil, or something like that?
Black Acid Evil come out at Danzig 5. That was Danzig 5, and that was after they dropped. That was after John Christ led.
Oh, it was all Glenn Danzig playing everything. I think he might have had a drummer or something like that.
And so he went industrial. And so he went industrial metal for Black Acid Evil, and he kind of kept that industrial metal sound in Danzig 666, which is Danzig 6. Then he come out with Circle of Snakes. Circle of Snakes has got a couple.
What is this guy's problem?
See, okay, me and Matt talked about this a while back. So Glenn's trying to fit an image. Okay, that's
Satan.
That's what I'm saying. That's what he's trying to fit this whole Satan image thing. And if you watch his he's actually a funny dude. He was in some skits, some kind of I can't remember what that show was, and it had that dude from SNL in it. But anyway, he was in some skits, and he's a funny guy, right? So this whole Satan thing, that's an act.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the image that he's trying to go. So if you listen to Danzig, it's got to be that image. So you just have to understand that. But there's a couple of songs off of Danzig 666. There's a couple of songs off of Circle of Snakes that are actually okay. Black Laden Crown come out in 2015, and that's a good album. You need to listen to it.
I'm going to have to check that out. Here's a funny fact for you. One of the reasons he left the Misfits,
it's probably because he's an asshole. He's hard to do.
Well, they claimed he was getting too satanic for them, and they didn't want to do all the satanic stuff. Of course, I think a lot of it was a stage show, but actually when he left the Misfits, there was a long time there that they could not use the Misfits name because Glenn owned it. Yeah. And they were in a big court battle and stuff over who could, and that's what happened in 97 when they came out with Famous Monsters, is they finally won the right to use the name Misfits again. But for a while there, before that, after Glenn left, they created a band called Christ the Conqueror. They actually were like a Christian band there for one album or whatever.
Really?
Because they did not want that. Yeah, that was after Glenn left. Yeah, that was Jerry Only and Duel. But yeah, they didn't want to personify the whole satanic thing. So yeah, you can look up Christ the Conqueror, and that they actually done an album that was Christian based. Yeah.
So getting back to the Misfits, the song Halloween, if you've ever just listened to the lyrics, they're pretty dark.
Oh yeah.
It's not singing just about the classic Universal monsters and whatnot that they tried to personify with the whole Widow's Peak and all that with the Dracula. Halloween is a pretty dark song when he's talking about dead bodies swinging from poles.
Yeah.
So he was dark back then. So I can see that. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
And Glenn Danzig's a weird dude anyway. He's a good dude from later on interviews of what I've seen him and stuff. But he just does weird stuff. Black Laden Crown, I downloaded it on Spotify. Okay, and then I was on it for 6 months, and all of a sudden I ain't got no songs on my Spotify list from it no more. And so he pulled it. So I don't know if he's having some kind of label issue,
Well, I'm
Or if he
looking it
just
up
put
right
it
now.
just because he's a weird dude.
I'll tell you in just
I'm
a
pretty
second.
sure that every time Danzig comes on my sleep playlist on Spotify, like I roll over and be like, devil, devil. Like Mama and the Water Boy. Devil, devil.
No, it's not on here, Daniel. I wonder, but all these other albums are on here. I wonder why
I
that
know.
one's gone.
And see, I probably had 6 songs off of Black Lady and Crown that was on my playlist.
Wow.
And about a year ago or 6 months ago, whenever it was, they all disappeared. And the only thing that's left, there's one song from it that's still on my Spotify.
Look up and see if it was self-produced or if it was produced by a record company.
I'm on it, baby.
Because if it's not self-produced, then it can't be distributed unless they distribute it. That's why all these artists are re-recording their albums so they can redistribute it.
It says it's the 11th album released by the heavy metal band Danzig, released on, says 2017, May 26, 2017.
Was it produced by them or was it produced by somebody else?
I can't tell. Eyes Ripping Fire, Devil on Highway 9.
Eyes Ripping Fire is good. Devil on Highway 99.
Come on, Glenn.
Yeah.
What a Nightmare. The Witching Hour.
I think what he does is he's like, this would be a cool name for a song. Let me just darken it up a little.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I know y'all, like, I like Danzig too. Danzig 2, the whole album was all right.
Yeah.
But when he starts singing about, I'm the whoa, I can't do it.
What? You know what's funny, Travis? You know what the last album he put out is?
What?
It's called Danzig Sings Elvis.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, he's the heavy metal Elvis, son.
Yeah.
I've always said it.
He sounds like Elvis. A lot of people said that he sounds like Elvis. I haven't listened to that album, but I do know that
I will be looking it up on Spotify as soon as we get off of here and end this call because
I promise you,
I'm an Elvis fan.
It's on Spotify.
Yeah, let me read you some songs. Hey, look here. Is It So Strange, One Night, Lonely Blue Boy, First in Line, Baby Let's Play House, Love Me Tender, Pocket Full of Rainbow, Fever.
He changes tender to Satan, right?
He done Always on My Mind. Yeah, boy, I bet I'm gonna have to check that out.
I have not listened to that album.
Come out in 2020. Danzig Sings Elvis. Praise God, baby.
Oh yeah.
But I will say this: I can't speak for that album because I haven't heard it. But in the last about 10 years, he's lost his voice. He don't sound anything like he did on Danzig or Danzig 2 or Danzig 3. He don't.
Well,
sound
right.
nothing.
I mean, if he's having to do all the instruments himself, and he can't, and he isn't playing out a lot, then he's not using his vocal cord. You know, like James Hetfield, he can still sing and hit all those notes, but they tour constantly.
Yeah.
You know, so he's still using that. Same thing happened to Steven Tyler. You know, they did Pump in the 80s, and then they took like a 5 or 6 year layoff before they come out with big ones.
Get
his
a grip.
voice changed. Yeah, get a grip. So his voice changed then too. You know, it got a little deeper. It's hard to get them high notes.
Yeah.
Aerosmith finally broke up, didn't they?
I don't know.
I don't think they broke up. I just think that they quit making music.
Old. Yeah, because what's his name? Joe Perry. He's in a band called the Hollywood Vampires with Johnny Depp and Alice.
Oh
Cooper.
yeah. I know Steven Tyler come out with a solo album, but I figured they broke up. Maybe they just trying to do a little something different.
Listen, I quit listening to Aerosmith when I found out that Steven Tyler adopted a 13-year-old girl so that nobody would raise questions about him dating that 13-year-old girl.
That sounds like something R. Kelly would do.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He was dating this girl, and they was like, "Hey man, is that your girlfriend?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you know." Well, people started kind of raising hell. Well, no, this is my adopted daughter. He adopted her so they could date.
That's insane.
Well, let me ask you this: is it weirder that he's dating a 13-year-old girl, or that he's dating a 13-year-old that's now his kid?
It's both weird, man. It's just weird.
That's some Woody Allen shit, man.
That sounds like some East Appalachian pedophilia right there. You heard?
and he's from Boston. Come on.
Oh man,
that's not good. Can't have that.
I mean, that's some Jerry Lee Lewis stuff too. Now.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Sure, only in America, baby. Well, hey guys, I think that's a good way to end this one. We've been going about an hour and 10 minutes now, but I think that went good. We'll do some more shows like this.
Shoot, yeah,
man.
I think
Keep
that went good.
those emails.
Yeah,
keep
email
sending
us.
them, man. Did we make it all the way through all the emails that got sent for everything?
Yeah, I thought we had 4, but I believe we only had 3, and there's 4, but I've lost the other one.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
so if you didn't hear yours, send it again.
Sorry, send it again. And
not very good at this yet.
We're just now learning how to do that crap. So yeah, send it again, and we'll let you know when we're going to do something like this again. But hey, that's a wrap from Travis and Daniel and the Matt that's not here right now, but he'll be back next time we're together. Until then, see ya. Bye.